Everybody sleeps because it not only helps us feel our best, but because sleep is essential to our health, well-being, and survival. This is why it's so important to understand the sleep cycle. There are multiple factors involved in our sleep cycles, such as homeostasis, which has to do with inducing and maintaining our sleep, and clock-dependent alertness, which induces and maintains our awakeness levels throughout the day. There are two main types of sleep that we all experience: REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement sleep, and non-REM sleep. There are three main stages of non-REM sleep. Let's take a look at each one. Non-REM stage 1 sleep usually lasts around 5 to 10 minutes and is the transition between wakefulness and sleep. Non-REM stage 2 sleep usually lasts around 20 minutes and is the stage where our body temperature begins to drop and our heart rate starts to slow down. While we only spend a little bit of time in this stage, we're actually in this stage for about 50% of our total sleep time. In non-REM stage 3 sleep, this is when we begin to experience deep sleep. It's the transitional stage between light sleep and very deep sleep as your muscles relax and blood pressure and breathing rate both begin to drop. Finally, in REM sleep, your body completely relaxes and immobilizes while the brain actually becomes more active. We spend about 20% of our total sleep time in this stage. And this is the stage where dreams start to occur and your eyes move rapidly. Now you know why it's called rapid eye movement sleep. Each one of these sleep cycles have various effects on our physical health and the way we feel throughout the day. Stage 1 of our sleep cycle, also known as N1 stage, is the phase that is commonly experienced when one is not trying to sleep. For example, you might have feelings of drowsiness and lapses in concentration and thought processes, which all indicate that you are entering stage 1. This could happen after eating a large meal, sitting in the car at a stoplight, or reading a book in the afternoon. This could potentially be dangerous, especially in social settings such as sitting in traffic, because the alpha activity in the brain is replaced by theta activity, which means that we lose our ability to concentrate and focus on what's happening around us. Stage 2 of our sleep cycle, or N2 stage, is our body's transition to deeper sleep as our electrical brain activity is characterized by K complexes and sleep spindles. Sleep spindles are associated with strengthening our synaptic connections and neural transmissions when learning something new. So essentially, this stage allows our brains to rest and strengthen its connections. Stage 3, or N3 stage of sleep cycle, is where we enter the deepest phase of the sleep cycle and allows our bodies to repair and regenerate. In this phase, our brain activity is full of delta activity, which is also characterized by K complexes and sleep spindles. Now you know why it's so important to get good sleep so that our bodies can rest and recuperate.
Now, let's talk about sleep debt. What is sleep debt? Sleep debt is the amount of sleep you should be getting minus the amount that you are actually getting. It is a deficit that grows every time that we skim a few extra minutes off of our sleep. When we don't get enough sleep, it can create a sleep debt and affect us even after sleeping the next night. Over time, your sleep debt can accumulate and lead to drowsiness. So what is drowsiness? Drowsiness is that feeling when you are struggling to stay awake and falling in and out of consciousness. Drowsiness can cause us to fall asleep at inappropriate times, for example, when driving. A study by the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety estimated that over 328,000 drowsy driving crashes occur annually. This is why we say drowsiness is red alert. Now, let's talk about some common misconceptions about sleep. Our first misconception is that napping makes up for lost sleep. When you nap, you do not go through normal stages of quality sleep. Therefore, research recommends taking a 90-minute nap to at least get through a cycle. Napping can give you a jolt of energy, but it cannot make up for lost sleep. Our second misconception is that getting more sleep is always better, when in fact, people who sleep too much actually have higher rates of mortality. Too much sleep can increase your perception of fatigue. This is what we call lifestyle jet lag. Chronic snoring can actually be caused by an underlying sleep disorder and can have harmful effects. Let's move on to factors that affect sleep quality. What are the do's and don'ts when it comes to sleep? The first thing is to always associate your bed with sleep. This means avoiding using your bed as a workspace throughout the day. Let's leave that essay writing for your desk. It also means avoiding blue light before bedtime. And yes, I'm talking about your phone, computer, or tablet. Hop off social media for an hour before bed. The second thing to consider is to avoid things that disrupt your sleep cycle at night. Napping too close to bedtime can disrupt your sleep cycle. Additionally, things such as drinking caffeine or alcohol, eating too close before bedtime, or using drugs such as nicotine and other substances can be bad for your sleep. Lastly, maintain a consistent sleep schedule. If you have a healthy circadian rhythm, you should be able to fall asleep and wake up at around the same time every day.
Sleep disorder refers to conditions that affect sleep quality, timing, or duration. They can impact a person's ability to properly function while they are awake and can lead to medical problems or be symptoms of mental health issues. About 70 million people in the United States suffer from sleep disorders, but a lot of people at some point in their lives will experience a sleep disorder without getting diagnosed. Sleep disorders cause more than just sleepiness during the day. They can seriously damage your physical and mental health, negatively affecting things like your energy levels, your heart and gut, your mood, and overall ability to handle stress. Ignoring sleep disorders can lead to serious long-term issues like weight gain, car accidents, impaired intellectual capabilities, and damaged relationships. While there are approximately 80 different sleep disorders, some of the most common sleep disorders include, but are not limited to, insomnia, sleep apnea, and restless leg syndrome. If you are experiencing recurring difficulty falling or remaining asleep, despite wanting to and having the means to do so, you may have insomnia. Other signs include feeling excessively sleepy during the day and cognitively impaired while awake. It is estimated that up to 1/3 of adults live with some form of insomnia. It can be caused by stress, jet lag, a health condition, medications, other sleep or mood disorders, or even the amount of coffee you drink. If you wake up choking or gasping for air, or are a heavy snorer, you may have sleep apnea. Other signs, like with insomnia, include feeling excessively fatigued during the day or cognitively impaired. Sleep apnea is a breathing disorder that occurs due to blockage of the upper airway. Most sleep apnea cases can be divided into one of two categories: obstructive sleep apnea and central sleep apnea. Obstructive sleep apnea is the more common of the two, and is caused by a physical obstruction, like large tonsils, fat deposit, or fluid buildup that blocks the upper airway. Sleeping on your back can lead to apnea episodes if your tongue falls back into your throat. Being overweight can also increase your risk of having obstructive sleep apnea. In central sleep apnea, your airway is not blocked, but rather your brain simply fails to tell your body to breathe. That's why it's called central apnea, because it's more related to the function of the central nervous system. Now imagine you are driving or watching a movie at the movie theater. If you feel throbbing, itching, or other painful sensations in your legs, or an intense urge to move them, you may have restless leg syndrome. These sensations are brought on by resting or sitting for prolonged periods of time, which is why it is a sleep disorder. It can lead to serious disruptions in sleep that can make it difficult to stay or fall asleep. Restless leg syndrome is a type of sleep-related movement disorder that affects 7 to 10% of Americans. There's currently no cure for restless leg syndrome, though, as with other sleep disorders, lifestyle changes can help sufferers manage their symptoms. These lifestyle changes can include counseling, medication, getting regular exercise, minimizing noise and light while sleeping, and practicing good sleep hygiene, such as by having a regular sleep schedule. If you believe you are experiencing a sleep disorder or have any of the aforementioned symptoms, it is crucial that you seek professional help as soon as possible.